Okay, folks, it's been quite a sunny day for the most part. I think it was quite cloudy earlier on, but it got really quite warm and I had to take off. I decided not to wear a jacket and a scarf, which would have been necessary in the morning. It was a bit cool, but it warmed up. I really hate the way the temperatures are so variable, low temperatures and high temperatures, which means I have to wear more than one type of clothing if I want to be comfortable. But unfortunately I don't have provision to put a jacket away when I don't need it. If I had a car and a license, I could just chuck it in the car and that's it, unless of course I just walk down the road. But for the most part it would be nice to have the option of throwing your fucking shit in a vehicle, especially when you're going to work and you have to get up early and then you get to work and it's bloody hot. So it's bloody awful. I don't like it. Gonna just make it a bit darker than usual. This is a piece of shit that I found, but it looks like something that's got potential. I do think I might switch that one to dot matrix for this. Okay, let's see what we have here. Looks like some kind of serviette. Looks a bit yucky, but what can I do? I'm trying to save money on making these demos, and it just costs too much to buy myself really nice materials to work with. Because even going to an op shop in this time of financial difficulties is really quite difficult. It's too expensive for me now. I'm trying to save money. I'm on a disability support pension and I work in in what's known as an Australian disability enterprise, because I had brain damage at birth. Even though it's been undiagnosed, the brain damage at birth, and I had a cord around my neck and it's prevented me from working. I have another condition that I've been diagnosed with, that's sort of loosely related to what's happened at birth, but I can't talk about it because it's stigmatized. But basically, I also believe I might have high functioning autism as well, which is something I consider more of a treasure than a problem, because it helps me focus on what I'm doing here. So I've got a really big thing I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get on the 6 o'clock news on Channel 9 with my art, with being creative at the photocopier. And basically the high functioning autism could be considered a very practical thing that I have. Not such a problem. It was a problem when I was at school because it fucked up my social life. Like, I couldn't socialise very well, which is a common problem with people with the old high functioning autism or Asperger's. I'm still waiting to get a diagnosis because I can't afford it, folks. I'm not rich. I can't even afford to have what could be my primary disability diagnosed. I can't afford it, folks. Fuck. So, but I'm eventually, if I can get in touch with my lost partner Luigi, I can get myself booked in for for a person that I've heard about. His name is Dr. Tony Atwood, and he's the one of the world's experts on Asperger's syndrome and high functioning autism and other autism related matters. And I trust him that he will supply me with the necessary diagnosis to put this problem at rest, even though I consider high functioning autism not an actual problem anymore. But basically but the intellectual disability that I have, I consider that a problem. It's difficult trying to function fully in a world that doesn't accept yeah, I can't work in a normal job. You know, I just can't fucking work in a normal job because of this. And I'm trying to get recognised as what I can do. I'm trying to get my work out there to be recognised. Now, I fucked it up. I'm going to have to move it to a different position. I was going to show that part, but I might not. But basically, I'm trying to get recognised here for what I can do. And the high functioning autism, or Asperger's, is the part of my disability disabilities that basically has the most function. It's functional and it's really useful, even though it does have obvious drawbacks. In the past, it's been a problem with my social life, and basically I've got teased, I got bullied, I got treated like fucking shit by my peers, and the brain damage has caused a lot of problems with learning, which means I got basically into a lot of trouble for not supposedly having a bad attitude to learning, and that included when I was at special school. That they on the I managed to get a copy of my time I spent at special school, known as Arndell, in North Ryde, not far from where I work at the disability employment, just metres away, believe it or not. And basically, yeah, I was told they wrote in their notes that I had a problem. I had a problem with learning, or something like that. In other words, they were inferring that I was some kind of troublemaker. They made me out to be a bloody troublemaker. And that's what happened at high school. I got made out to be a fucking troublemaker. You know, it's like, no, I wasn't meaning to make trouble. I didn't mean to be a troublemaker, but I fucking got labelled without that actual term. And it was really hurtful because I hated getting into trouble. I did. I fucking hated getting busted for doing things. And my dad and my brother hated my photocopier art. And I figured that if my parents were allowed to go to a parent-teacher night, the teachers would have to have a lot to say about my obsession with photocopiers and saying it's a distraction from schoolwork. It never happened. I was clever enough to hide the parent-teacher letters, and they never went to a parent-teacher night, at least not when I was in high school. They still unfortunately found my school reports from time to time, which were not very glowing indeed. I really didn't want to get into trouble, especially when it came to my photocopier dealings, because my dad and my brother were against it and they tried to ban me on occasion, so you know. Anyway, that piece of shit looks really nice. I think we can now call this demo quits.